store aisles. We hunt for treasure, stacking them in piles. Hustling hard, making deals all day. Flipping finds, turning profit our way. Pure Hustle Podcast guides our quest. Learning tricks to be the best. On eBay we make our name. Reselling dreams, winning the game. Pure Hustle Podcast guides our quest. Learning tricks to be the best. On eBay we make our name. Reselling dreams, winning the game.
Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're here for a Tuesday live minisode.
Yeah, maybe we just need to start calling them live minisodes because, Mondays doesn't always work out for us. We actually had somebody who commented yesterday on one of our YouTube videos and said, what, no video on Monday? Yeah, that's one of the reasons we're trying to keep you on your toes. We want you to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification because, surprise, we could go live anytime. Who knows? Maybe 3 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. You never know. So have that bell notification set just in case.
There you go. There you go. So, hey, thank you to everyone that's tuning in. And in the chat, if you have any questions or if you have anything you'd like to interject about reselling, let us know. We'd always want to keep this an engaging episode. Today, we're going to talk about Q4 sales are heating up. And I find this interesting. And the reason I find this interesting is because eBay actually in their recent 2023 earnings report is not believing that it's going to be a great Q4. So they actually said, let me read this. This is from Reuters. They said eBay forecast fourth quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates on Wednesday as cautious consumers shun collector's items, refurbished goods, sending its shares down more than 10%. This is back in October 30th. eBay has been under pressure as inflation hits shoppers become increasingly choosy about their online purchases. This is Steve Priest, CFO of eBay, said in a conference call. Our outlook also contemplates a challenging operating environment due to persistent economic headwinds and several one-off dynamics in Q4, specifically greater consumer attention on U.S. elections, the shorter holiday shopping period this year, and Hurricane Milton in early October. And I remember we talked about this in one of our episodes. Somebody, did I say 2023? 2024? 2024?
We're almost to the end and you're still saying the wrong year, man. What's going to happen when we hit 2025? Jeez. Get with the times, Orlando.
Sorry,
Come on
it's
now.
2024. But I remember seeing this and going, oh, okay, this is very concerning that eBay feels this way, right? Because eBay is anticipating to make 2.53 billion or between 2.53 to 2.59, where estimates were 2.65. But here's the thing. I think that may have changed because, I do believe that, the short end Christmas holiday will probably affect us, right? Isn't Thanksgiving like super late, Mike?
Yeah, so Thanksgiving this year, I think it's the 28th, so it's the last Thursday of the month, and that comes very late this year. So there's going to be a very short window between that Black Friday and Christmas time. It's much shorter than we often experience. So that could cause like some rushed buying. It could change buying patterns to some extent. So yeah, we'll have to see on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm already seeing people buying. So that could be the thing too, is because we haven't had Thanksgiving yet, it could kind of feel, and obviously we never have Thanksgiving by the 12th, but since Thanksgiving still feels so far away, it makes Christmas feel that much further away, but really it's not. We're already halfway through November, and so this is the time. Like, this is when people are buying and purchasing things for gifts. This is when people are really starting to get their shopping done. So we're gonna really start seeing that heating up happen very soon.
Yeah, but I'm looking at everything that's taking place. Wherever we land on the election, like crypto is taking off, the stock market is taking off. Like things are going wild. And I think in the retail sector, that's going to be the case too. I get the sense, I've been saying this since, earlier in the year, that I feel that regardless, right, people still want to shop for Christmas, right, regardless of what's taking place. And now that maybe they're getting some confidence because they believe that the economy is going to turn out better, and they see, the stock market taking off, they see crypto taking off, a lot of people are going to go, you know what, things are going to improve. And so I do believe there's going to be more people buying, and maybe they're going to be buying through January, despite the fact that we have a shorter holiday season. So if you haven't been listing, make sure you are listing right now, because people may start buying even now, and maybe we'll see the lull in December, but I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And going back to that idea of like just having, even if it's not confidence, even if it's just kind of having certainty, because it's that uncertainty. I feel like, the first part of Q4, there was just a lot of questions in the air of what's going to happen. And now there's a little bit more clarity of, whether or not people think good or bad. There's this, the markets can begin to adjust based off of what they know is happening, as opposed to, I don't know, it could go either way on things. And so as the stock market begins to improve, just from some people kind of knowing how to play the markets now because they have more clarity, that means money is starting to flow a little bit. And that on top of just Q4 sales are always going to be up, unless we're in a really, really, really tough time of the year, or not time of the year, but just economic situation. People are going to buy for Christmas. And one of the things that not all of our listeners, and we've had a lot of listeners, a lot of people on the Discord who've done really, really well this year. And so, your experience may vary, right? Not everybody's selling the same things. Not everybody has the same model. Not everybody's in the same niche. And so, you could have had a really great year, but no matter what, a lot of people did have a less than optimal year so far this year, maybe less than they've had in the last couple of years. Even especially when you're comparing, a lot of people still have 2020 fresh in their mind, 2020, 2021, when stimulus checks were going out, money was a little bit looser. And so when you can't compare apples to oranges when it comes to that, right? That was a very unique time. Money was really flowing pretty easily in the economy. People are at home, people are shopping on the internet. And so when you compare, even if this was a pretty decent year in general, if you're trying to compare it to not that long ago, it's going to feel really off. And so a lot of people are going into Q4 with kind of a negative attitude about how they're going to do. And then as they're starting to see sales come in, and by the way, I'd love to hear from the people in our comments if you want to share, like, have you noticed a spike in sales recently? I sure have. I haven't been doing anything different. I haven't increased the amount of listings I've done, really. I've kind of stayed consistent. And yet my sales have really started to pick up with this Q4 time of the year. And so I'd love to see if anybody else is having a similar experience, because my fear is that a lot of eBay sellers didn't prepare the way they should have for Q4. Maybe they haven't gotten their inventory all listed. They still have those death piles going, and they're not ready to capitalize on that uptick in sales that is already starting to happen, at least from my experience.
But let's just take a look at the last 4 years. Okay, so on eBay, so 2020, obviously that was the killer year in Q4, right? That was where everybody's staying home, and like you had mentioned, stimulus checks. eBay year over year, that year went plus 28%. And then in 2021, they went 5%. Then there was a decline in 2022, but that makes sense, right? People are no longer just buying online. People are now going outside, and things have kind of calmed down. And so negative 4%. But then by 2023, up 2% again, right? Year over year. And so in the end, right, there's still Q4 historically. There's this thing that, hey, people will continue buying, and the evidence is there. We're not just saying this. I'm not just saying I feel like things are better. I get the sense. Yeah, there's that, but the facts actually support, right, that. So to me, to kind of sit back and just go like, hey, I'm not gonna try as hard as this Q4. Things aren't gonna go well. Well, in the end, people are still going to buy goods. Now, at the show, Vid says, sale numbers are up a bit for me. Most of my sales are low dollar items though. Yeah, and I agree with that. I've seen some of that, right? That does happen, where you end up having, you sell a lot, but it's a lot of low dollar items in comparison to selling a few and they're high dollar items. But I will say in Q4, my highest items usually sell, right? Or they sell at a premium. So I've sold items that, sell for generally like $80 and they'll sell for $120, $140. I've had people spend all kinds of money on shipping because they want to get things to get shipped on time and so on. And so people are willing, right, to do those things. And I always want to encourage people, right, to, if you have anything in your house that has not been listed, that all needs to be listed. This is why I keep saying on the podcast, I've been focusing on my death piles, because to me, that's just money that's sitting out there. And the hope is that right now, an offer that I get in Q4 may be the only offer I get all year. So I better take it. It also helps in the algorithm to take those offers. And so part of Q4 heating up is also being aware that you've listed a lot, also being aware that you must accept offers, also being aware that you must be on top of your game. You know, I today I was kind of slow on my shipping and some items didn't get shipped out on time. It's not going to ding me, but if I make that a constant thing, it will hurt me. So I encourage everyone, look at this Q4 as a positive. Everything, looks to things are going to go well, no matter the election, no matter the natural disasters. Unless we have a scenario where people just can't spend any money, this Q4 should look pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not just Christmas items. Like, we just recorded our episode that's going to drop tomorrow, and we talked about the importance of Christmas items or other holiday items around this time of the year, and that is obviously going to be the low fruit, right? The low hanging fruit on that. However, I've mentioned so many times on this podcast that when it comes to people spending money, I mean, just think about for you, Orlando. Like, if you're just walking around, you're in the mall, you're doing something, and somebody's selling like a $8 bottle of water or like a hot dog for $6, you're probably like, nope, that's way too expensive. You're just going about your normal day-to-day life. But if you're at Disneyland or you're on vacation and you're starting to spend money, you've already spent a bunch of money getting in. You bought some trinkets and some souvenirs for a bunch of money. Paying the $8 for a bottle of water, it's not as big of a deal. Like, you might still be like, oh man, that was expensive. But once money starts flowing, it's just a psychological thing. Like, once people begin selling, once people begin purchasing, the money keeps going, right? That's one of the reasons why a lot of people end up going debt during this Q4 time. They start buying Christmas presents. I mean, I've experienced this in my own life. Like, you're doing some shopping, you bought a bunch of Christmas presents. Unless you're like really, really strict with a budget, it's easy to start listing. Oh, I've got this other thing. Oh, look, this item's on sale on Amazon too. And and you start buying things that you might not have normally bought because, hey, I've already spent a bunch of money. And so even things that aren't necessarily holiday or gift items, there's a good chance that you're going to start seeing an uptick in your store because people are buying things. So you don't want to have death piles in Q4. You want to get those things listed, not just to trigger that algorithm, which is a huge factor of that. But you never know what people are looking for. And people start getting gift cards. People know they're going to get money maybe for Christmas. And so people start buying things that aren't necessarily things that would be given wrapped up underneath a tree as a present. But they're like, hey, you know what? I really want this. I got to fix this part of my car. And, I want this new thing, this hobby that I'm into. And I've got some money coming in for Christmas, or I've got a Christmas bonus coming. I mean, that's another thing that we don't often talk about on the podcast. But a lot of businesses, not enough, but a lot of businesses still do some kind of, Christmas bonus or some kind of extra that they get at the end of the year. And so once that money starts flowing, all kinds of things are going to start selling. So you don't want to have those death piles. And again, we've only had one person so far comment and say they've seen an uptick a little bit on their sales, but I'm sure that as this episode goes up and stays up for a while, we'll see more people saying similar. I hope nobody's seen a downturn in their sales in Q4 because that would be discouraging for sure.
No, agreed. And I agree with that. The show vids, I need a reseller intervention. No way I'm getting through my death piles before Christmas. You and me both. You and me and probably thousands of other resellers out
prioritize, right? Like, that's the key is if you can't get through the whole death pile, let's say you got 100 items sitting in a death pile, the key is prioritize the stuff that's going to be most profitable. What's going to be the easiest to list and ship? That's got to be some of the factors that you're looking at, but also what's going to be most profitable. Just start there. Just pick your 10 most profitable items and get those ones listed. And then the next day or next week, get the next 10 items of your death pile, because those are the ones you don't want to leave hanging. So a lot of times we list things because we want to list them, maybe because they're easier to list. but we leave the most profitable items just sitting in the death pile. So if you can't get through it all, prioritize the most important ones. That would be what I would say.
No, I agree. And again, the idea here is you want to capitalize on this moment, right? And Mike and I always say this: you never know what's up ahead. We don't know what's up ahead in January or February. We just know about right now. And if sales are taking off, just add more fuel to the fire. Like for me, I've had an incredible week, and guess what? That's going to motivate me. I'm going to keep listing more and more and more and more, and I'm going to make things happen. And also, I've been doing some things with End and So Similar. I talk about them in the long form podcast, so make sure to catch that. Actually, it's gonna be tomorrow, so make sure to catch that episode tomorrow. Hey, this is a mini-sode. We just wanted to get on here. We wanted to motivate you guys. Hey, yes, Q4 sales are heating up, at least for us, at least for other resellers that we know. Things are picking up, and so continue moving, continue hustling, getting out there, and continue making it happen. With that being said, make sure to be real,
Be relevant,
and be reselling. Late.
Peace.